Hey guys, Will here, and today we're going to do something to my car. Now, as you can see, it's a WRX. I've already done a shift knob for it, a custom shift knob, which if you want to see the video, it's up here. But today what I'm going to do is a front license plate delete, which is basically something to cover up this little rectangle right there. Now, I wanted to do something to pay homage to Subaru with it, so I decided to make a boxer engine-like thing for it. And what I originally was going to do is just a simple little design like this that would cover up right here. You can see the two cylinders horizontally opposed, and I thought that looks pretty cool. But I decided to take it one step further and actually have it be so that there's like two LEDs firing, alternating from each other, so it looks like the cylinders themselves are actually firing. I thought that would be pretty cool, so let's do that. The first thing I did was prototype the electronics on a breadboard. It consisted of a voltage divider that brought it down from a measured 14 volts to 3 volts, as well as a flashing light circuit consisting of a couple capacitors and transistors to make the LEDs blink after each other. I decided to use the fog lamps to power and control the circuit. This way I can easily turn them on and turn it off when I don't want it running without having to install any extra switches in the car. In order to get to the fog light, you have to take out the plastic push rivets on the splash guard as well as the screw rivets on the fender. After that, all you have to do is unhook the fog lamp. I found using pliers was pretty helpful to do this. I could then connect the circuit to the fog lamp connector. This allowed me to test and tune how quickly the LEDs flashed by changing the resistors on the circuit. Once I was happy with how quickly the LEDs were flashing, it was time to make it a permanent circuit. So I got some perf board and started soldering everything to it. To help installation, I used some female connectors from some jumper wires to connect to the LEDs. I permanently soldered on the power lines to the perf board, as they would be later connected to the fog lamp. I used my drill to twist the power wire just to keep it nice and clean. Alright, so here you can see the final version modeled up in CAD. You can see the two different cylinders there, and basically there's three different parts, or three different materials that are going to be used. The top black part is going to be ABS because it's a nice weather resistant material. The red part is Ninja Flex, which is a flexible material. Those are going to be used as seals. They're made a little bit thicker than the actual gap is modeled up to be between the bottom part and the top part. So hopefully they'll clamp down and create a good waterproof seal. And then the bottom part, the white part, is going to be made out of nylon, and that's where the LEDs are going to be held. You can see the cutouts for the LEDs. And the nylon will let the light from the LEDs shine through it so you can see it sort of illuminate further down. And then the wires for the LEDs are going to go down this little valley down here and then out the bottom. So here is the control box for the electronics. The board is going to sit down in here on this little step right up here with these pegs. The pegs are going to hold it in place, and then there's a seal around there to help prevent some water from getting in, even though there is that hold on there for wires to go through, but that's covered up with this as well. So let's get this printed. After everything was done printing, it was time to put it all together. So I started out by stripping the wires for the LEDs and then putting some heat shrink over them as well. And then I soldered the wire onto each LED. Blue was for the anode and black was for the cathodes. I clipped off the excess leads and then got my heat gun and shrunk the heat shrink. I then fed the LED wires through their hole on the nylon part and loosely placed the LEDs where they should be. After that, I got the hot glue gun out and glued them into place. To keep the wires clean and organized, I got the drill back out to twist them together like I did before. I did each pair of LED wires separately, and then did both pairs together to make one solid wire. Then it was time to put everything together, starting with the base, then the Ninja Flex seal, and finally the black ABS cover. The holes on the perf board ended up being a little bit too small for the pegs of the enclosure, so I had to drill them out before fitting them into the box. It was then time to install everything on the car. After routing the fog lamp wire up to a place where I can more easily get to it, I cut back some of the protective shielding to expose more of the wires. Using my wire strippers, I carefully stripped the wires to expose the inner wire. This was a little bit nerve-wracking because I did not want to damage the wires. After stripping back both wires, I connected the wires that would power my circuit. I first just twisted them around, and then I got my soldering iron and soldered them together. I wrapped them in some electrical tape to provide protection. It was time to put everything on the car back together. I started with connecting the fog lamp, and then I reinstalled all the rivets into the fender as well as the splash guards underneath the car. It was then time to install the license plate delete on the front of the car. I already had the holes drilled out from before, so all I had to do was install the screws. Then it was just a matter of routing the wires into the engine bay, making sure that they would be safely routed away from things that they could get caught on. Then I installed the LED wires into their proper connectors and added some electrical tape to make sure that they would stay in place. I then routed the wires through the cutout of the enclosure and installed the lid. I then used some zip ties to attach the enclosure to the car. After that, it was done. Let's see how it works. Alright, so it's done. I think it came out pretty freaking cool. I'm pretty excited about this. It's pretty much exactly what I wanted it to be. One cylinder firing after the other. I think it's unique. It'll definitely be something different. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. Leave a comment below. Make sure to subscribe so you know when more videos come out. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.